America is the greatest land on earth. Heavenly Father has really blessed all of us. I love America. I'm Bill Sampson, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And when the war broke out in 1941, I had a brother that went into the cavalry. He rode horses. And then later, he went into the Air Corps, trained to be a pilot. And later on in the war, his plane was shot down and he was killed. I had another brother, and his name was Bud, and he was a little older than I, about 4 years older than I. And he went into the Navy. And my dad, he was very proud of hanging 2 stars in the window on that little flag that they had. I thought, I'd like to go in the Navy. I wasn't old enough then, but I was about 15, I guess, 16, and that was in about 42. And then when I turned 17, I asked my dad, I'd like to go into the Navy. And he said, good, maybe they'll teach you something there. Because I was really giving him a bad time. I was in a lot of trouble. Not real serious trouble, but a lot of trouble. I wasn't listening to the teachers and that. Of course, I went to a Catholic school. We were Catholic then, and the nuns or the sisters that taught us, they really were strict. But anyway, he signed the papers, and I went into the Navy. Instead of going to Great Lakes right outside of Chicago, I went to Farragut, Idaho, and I loved that, up in the mountains. I thought, gee whiz, that was up in the Coeur d'Alene. That's where we trained. At Coeur d'Alene Lake there. That's where we trained on those seagoing vessels and the old sailing ships. That's where we trained. I spent 6 weeks there in Farragut, Idaho, and from there I went to Mare Island, California, and they put us on the ship. It was USS Louisville. It was a heavy cruiser, and there I met a friend of mine. He was in the same division, and we kind of teamed up in that, and he was from Utah, and his name was Tom Balls. I really got to like him and that. He's telling me all about the mountains and the hunting and the fishing, and I just loved the stories that he told. And I thought, I'd like to live out in that area, whether in Utah or Idaho or somewhere up where they had mountains and lots of game. So then, that 1944, I guess it was, we had been out in many campaigns together. Marshall Islands, Guadalcanal, Subic Bay, Philippines, but anyhow, when we came home, I couldn't go to Chicago. It was too far, and actually, we weren't even supposed to leave 100 miles from California. But we came out to Utah here, arriving late that night. We hitchhiked, and at that time, people would pick you up. It wasn't hard to get a ride then. Now it is, but then it was easy to get a ride. We arrived out here at about 10 o'clock at night. He introduced me to his sister-in-law, and I thought, she's the one for me. And I thought that. I don't know what she thought, but I did. And we left there the next morning, about an hour, I guess we talked. I told her I would write to her. And we were about the same age. And at that time, I was about 18, going on 19, I guess. And so was she. And I went back overseas, but I went to China, and he went to somewhere else in the Pacific. And so we split up then. And then after the war ended, I came home to Great Lakes because that's where they discharge people from the Illinois area. You're talking about living in a land where we have all of the freedoms. We can say what we want to say, and usually we can do the things as long as it's not against the law. So we're living in a country that's the greatest country on earth. I love America, and because I've been around the world. I've been over in Europe, I've been over in South Asia, and those kind of people don't have the freedoms that we have. They don't have the things that we enjoy, like cars, boats, family, and that. And sometimes they'll even tell you how many children you can have. Over in Communist China there, they can only have so many children. But we can have as many kids as we want, and we can do the things that we enjoy. We have good working conditions. We have good places to go, the scenery. Here in Utah, I always say, why go anyplace else? Right here in Utah, there's more to see right here, like Zion Park, Canyonlands. Oh, I can go on and on and on. Yellowstone. I used to take the family up to Yellowstone every year when they were small. We had such a great time. So here in America, we're really blessed. I think our Heavenly Father has really blessed all of us that live here in America. That's why all these people in other countries want to come here. Why do you think they want to come here? Because they know that they can raise their families in peace and harmony. And so America is the greatest land on earth, and it always will be. I'm glad that I'm American, and I'm living in a country that's free, and we can say and do what we want to do, and with no problems.